Hey, good morning, ladies. This is a shout out to Jeannie the Healing Witch, to Glammy Witch, and Cat0411. We are talking about the New Orleans Voodoo Tarot. I don't know if you guys can see, my lighting is kind of. But anyway, yeah, I know that everybody's like really interested in this deck all of a sudden. I know that everybody's ordering it. Everybody's like, oh my god, I can't wait for it. I just done a little quick spread or whatever for like today's messages, I guess. For the messages that need to be shown to everybody that's pretty much viewing this channel and all of you guys. I was thinking about you, the ladies that I just mentioned as well when I kind of done this, and for everybody that's viewing my channel. These cards are really good though. Like I said, they've got the Petro, the Rada, the Congo, and the African Orisha. So you have all types of African spirits. And of course you can kind of, if you're familiar with any of the spirits, you know, from the Voodoo or the Congo or the Santeria or whatever, it's going to be a little bit easier for you to get into these cards because you can actually kind of see what's going on and what it's telling you when you pull them out. This is a different deck than I've ever worked with. I got back into my tarot and I was like, you know, I need a deck that's going to reflect what I'm doing, you know, something that's dealing with the African diaspora, that I can really relate to, that I feel like that I could like set on my altar or whatever, and that, you know, I could pick a card a day, I could do whatever. I'm working on right now getting these charged up and kind of bringing life to them and all. I do do my prayers to Elegua and rhythmic breathing and stuff. I do try to do my, you know, little channeling and everything before I let the cards out. And usually I don't have to shuffle it a couple of times and my cards are popping out. Some of them will even come face up like this and just be right out, and the rest of the cards be like this. But this is the deck. As you notice, it's a very beautiful royal purple. It's got the Veve. It's a very beautiful deck. Okay, guys, I went ahead and shuffled the deck. I'm going to get the rest of the cards turned over here. These are the messages that I asked to be brought to us today that would be most valuable to us. First of all, we have the dance. I'm going to have to probably angle this just a little bit more. My lighting's not very good in my living room, guys. Okay, basically, you guys know about the whole thing about going into trance and stuff with the spirits and them taking over. Sometimes, let's go with it like this. Sometimes the dancer becomes the dance. I know you guys can all relate to that song. She's a maniac, maniac. Sometimes the dancer becomes the dance. And what this card is teaching us is not to subconsciously allow ourselves to do things that are going to, you know, create havoc for us on the long run. You know, to keep a cool head and always, you know, think before you act, because it's like, you know, it's a mystery now. I mean, it's like something you do, like walking and talking and doing something other. A lot of times you do a lot of things unconsciously. And this is reminding us, don't let, you know, the head leads the body, so to speak. And us all to practice a cool head. Try to think before we speak, before we act, because in the long run, that can bring problems upon us. The next card we have is Maman Brigitte. Look at that, I love this card. Sitting up there on a pile of rocks in the cemetery, and the candles are all being lit around her. Ooh. But this is number 3 in the state of Congo. But yeah, basically, Maman Brigitte is talking about make sure to view every the situation at hand. You know, sometimes there's no such thing as overanalyzing the situation, especially when you're trying to keep things going with a cool head. You're trying to be rational. You're trying to figure out, you know, how things are going to affect you, the people around you, how it's going to affect your roads so far as, you know, in the present and so far in the future. So yeah, Maman Brigitte reminds us to be knowledgeable about all situations and to make sure we have a clear understanding of things before we act. Sometimes that right there can create, you know, can save us from a lot of hardship or heartaches and folly. Okay, the next card we have is Dimbala La Flamme Bleue. This is Damballa, or Damballa Widow, and his like Pedro or fiery aspect. Look at him. I mean, this card is alive with energy, fiery, raw force and power. But again, that is showing us, coming into play again with, directing your energies in the manner they need to be directed in. When you, that pure raw energy force that you've got going on, you need to make sure that you're using it in a clear and concise and constructive, way. Even if you are using it in a deconstructive way, make sure it's in a constructive way. Sometimes having a cool head and not being overheated will actually can play. The situation can turn completely around sometimes. This is another card that I drew out of my animal medicine deck. Rabbit. Okay, basically the story about the rabbit is the rabbit and the witch were real good friends. Every time the rabbit needed food or water, the witch would blow on a leaf, there'd be a pool of water. She'd blow on the ground, there would be food. One day, Rabbit got out of his league a little bit, and he traveled all the way up to the top of the mountain. And he ended up falling and getting hurt and was all broken. Well, the witch found him at the bottom. She went to him. She gave him medicine and salves and herbs and restored him to health. Well, the next day, the witch went looking for the rabbit and couldn't figure out where the hell he went to. Make a long story short, the rabbit, told her to go away, not to come back, leave her alone. They were not friends anymore. The witch frightened him. And she was like, this whole time I have used my magic and my abilities and my ways to help you and to provide for you and all, but now all of a sudden you fear me and you think my magic is ungodly and all this and other, so now you shun me. She's like, fine, I will leave you, but from this day forth I curse you. Your kind will always be anxious and live in fear. Pretty much, the rabbit, would call bad things upon itself. A lot of times in life, you guys, what we protest the most is what we often become. So that goes into playing, keeping a cool head, make sure you understand everything that's going on in the situation before you open your mouth about it. Always make sure you have a clear and precise situation or view on the situation. You pray about it, you divine about it, because sometimes you never know how your actions, and sometimes you can just think just a little bit before your mouth opens, before you act, before you do, and it can have a totally different play out on the events at hand. Anyway, guys, I'm going to get out of here. Blessings.